Come to Mary Ann Hill Homicide. May God save the great state of Florence on the court. You may be seated.
Good morning. At this time, the court calls the case of the state of Florida versus Miss Gloria Williams, 2017 CF 539. Would all counsel please enter your appearances for the record?
Alan Dry on behalf of the state of Florida.
Good morning, Your Honor. Diana Johnson on behalf of Mrs. Williams.
And Matthew LaQuarta on behalf of Mrs. Williams.
Good morning. Are there any counsel for the interveners present in the courtroom at this time?
Not that I've seen, Your Honor.
Very well. We are here today for imposition of sentence. There was a lengthy and extensive sentencing hearing that took place on May 3 and 4, 2018. The state of Florida were represented by Mr. Mizrahi. Ms. Williams was represented by Ms. Johnson and Mr. Rufano. Both sides had an opportunity to present many witnesses, evidence, and extensive arguments to the court. All of that information was typed up, and I reviewed those transcripts in great detail on multiple occasions, and what I have done is I have reduced the findings of the court into a written sentencing order, and I am filing the original right now with Madam Clerk. I have copies with me that will be provided to counsel via Madam Clerk in just a few minutes, and I am incorporating by reference at this time all of the findings of the court and conclusions of the law, which are in writing already, into the record, and I'm not going to read the order. The order sets forth the court's thought process and analysis. There's a few housekeeping matters I want to take care of. Is there any legal reason why sentence may not be imposed right now? I'm just dealing with the financial obligations. No. Okay, so court costs of $518 are imposed and are converted to a civil judgment. Mr. Mizrahi, typically the clerk does not have a form for the cost of investigation if it's to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Do we need a proposed order on that, Madam Clerk? Could that be provided later?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll provide that.
Okay, so I'm ordering a $500 cost of investigation to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. That was agreed to by Ms. Williams on the record at the plea hearing. And if that can just be sent to Mr. Javier Grant, he's covering for me this morning, copy to the defense counsel, I'll make sure that's entered. Another portion of the plea is that the defendant has agreed not to profit from her crimes while incarcerated. Does that need to be announced by the court on the record or reduced to a written order?
I think it's in the plea agreement, and if the court would mention it as part of the sentence, I think that would suffice.
I would agree, Your Honor.
I could just announce it at this time.
Yes.
As part of the sentence for Ms. Williams, I am ordering that she may not profit from her crimes while incarcerated. At this time, we will proceed forward with imposition of sentence. The imposition of sentence can be one of the most emotional times in a courtroom in our system of justice. Witnesses who have testified with their hearts and with their souls about their views of this case, their experience, and I've listened carefully to all of the testimony. I appreciate all the testimony. If anyone feels like the moment of imposition of sentence might be difficult for you to maintain a proper courtroom demeanor, it's okay to exit. A proper courtroom demeanor is required of every single one of us in this courtroom, including myself. We all have to have respect for the law and for the system of justice that requires that we proceed in a methodical manner. At this time, we'll proceed forward to imposition of sentence. Just so you know, after I leave the bench, Mr. Javier Grant is going to email copies to all counsel of record, including those attorneys that have intervened, so that it's been provided in writing to everybody. So you may receive it in writing right now. And again, and I also have a copy for Ms. Williams as well. So these copies will be given out by Madam Clerk in just a moment after I leave the bench. At this time, if Ms. Williams would proceed forward to the podium with her attorneys for imposition of sentence. For the record, I did accept the defendant's plea of guilty on February 10, 2018. There are no winners and no losers in this case. This is a very sad case, and many people have suffered, including Ms. Williams, as a result of her choices on the day of the crime. At this time, this court will proceed to imposition of sentence. The defendant is adjudicated guilty of kidnapping, the first-degree felony under Florida law, punishable by life. The sentence is she will serve 18 years in the Florida State Prison. She is awarded credit for time served, which is 511 days. And that credit, counsel, was from the day after the arrest warrant was signed, and I believe the state, you have no objection to that number, do you? 511 days are awarded as credit. On count 2, the defendant's adjudicated guilty of the third-degree felony of interference with custody. The sentence is the defendant will serve 5 years in the Florida State Prison with 511 days of credit. The family in this case suffered not knowing what had happened to their child for approximately 18 years. It's a very sad day. I appreciate all the hard work of the attorneys and everyone else involved in this case. Ms. Williams, you have 30 days from today within which to appeal the legality of these sentences and/or the legalities of these proceedings, as well as the legality of the earlier proceedings, at which time I accepted your plea of guilty, as well as the legality of the sentencing hearings. The sentences on both counts will run concurrently with one another. Is there anything further from either side? I believe the fingerprinting will happen a little bit later.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything further for today?
No, Your Honor, we have been in discussion with the state regarding a release of property motion. They're going over all of the items with JSO, and we will be filing that motion as soon as we have some type of agreement or answer from the state.
Very well. Anything further today on behalf of the state of Florida? Very well. The court will be in recess. If I need to appoint counsel for purposes of appeal, you can let my office know.
We will, Your Honor.
Copy to the state.
Thank you.
The court will be in recess. I'll provide the copies, and then I'm going to leave the bench, and the copies will be distributed in just a moment. This is because it doesn't. I have to make sure I give you the original. Okay. Then you have these copies. Okay. Thank you.